year's team and kind of underperforming a little bit so far.
Second meeting of the year. The first one went down to the wire, won by Oregon in Corvallis, 78-76, 3 weeks ago. Roman Silva played really well in that first meeting. Missed a shot there, and it's rebounded by Young. Young with a head of steam, driving and kicking it back out. Oregon with wins at UCLA and at USC in the last couple weeks. Guerrier tried to turn the corner there, could not, turned it over, and then a foul is called here as Guerrier got too close to Jared Lucas.
That was just a heads-up play by Lucas to draw that contact. Anytime you get a chance to pick up a cheap foul.
Wayne Tinkle in his 8th season done a phenomenal job. 2 NCAA tournaments, 5 winning seasons. They had 2 in 24 years prior to Tinkle taking over.
Can't say enough about what he's done with this Beaver program. He talked about the Elite 8 last year, always overachieving.
Dante with a block, and look at him run the floor for the slam. Davis trying to find some room. It's not there. Almost threw it away. Dexter Acano, transfer from Marquette, driving. Another block by Dante. Kept alive in the baseline jumper, way off the mark. Richardson fakes the 3, and a reach-in foul is called here on Oregon State.
And right now, it's the Oregon State Beavers that are a little bit tight on offense. The turnovers, live ball turnovers like this, leading to these transition buckets for Oregon, and they are out to the races. That's a 3-on-1 finish in the open court.
1.5 gone by here in Eugene. Richardson driving, gets past Lucas. Silva went straight up, so no foul. And now the Beavers in transition, but Oregon gets back. Lucas trying to back down Richardson, fires off the glass, and if he makes a couple early, look out.
He is one of the best shooters in the Pac-12 conference, but more importantly, he's got the green light. That wasn't the best shot. That was a one-on-one Kobe fadeaway. He gets to take those shots for Wayne Tinkle.
Here's Waritha Letitia, who was the most outstanding player in the Pac-12 tournament last year. Preseason first-team All-Pac-12, has not had a great start to the season. Guerrier walks into a 3 off the back rim and over the top of the backboard.
Letitia, one of those pieces from last year, just hasn't found his rhythm. And, you know, every team, every year is different. Sometimes you have a different role, but his talent is there. They just got to get it on a consistent basis.
Meeting number 359 between Oregon and Oregon State, the most played college basketball rivalry ever, going back to 1903. And Oregon State, which is
Athletic Conference. For Robbie Hummel, Mike Corey, thanks for watching. Now let's get you to Eugene, Oregon State, Oregon. Dave Pasch and Corey Williams, guys.
Meeting number 359 between Oregon and Oregon State, the most played college basketball rivalry ever, going back to 1903. And Oregon State, which has struggled after winning the Pac-12 tournament last year and making it to the Elite 8. Off to a good start, though, here. Will Richardson, a Player of the Year candidate in the Pac-12, 4th in the conference in scoring, hits a 3 to give the Ducks a 1-point lead.
That was a deep 3 from NBA range. You see what makes him so special. He's a player that wants to get to the rim, but can shoot that deep jumper as well.
He's second in the conference in three-point shooting. That's Corey Williams. I'm Dave Pasch. Off the fingertips of Silva, a turnover by Oregon State. The Ducks look to run. These teams met just 3 weeks ago. It was a 2-point game won by Oregon in the final seconds. Oregon is 6-1 here in the last 7. Richardson in the basket. Will they count it? Nope. In the NBA, that would be a basket, but not at the college level. So Letitia gets the foul, his first, and the second on Oregon State.
Dave, how hard is that for you to switch gears? You just were in the NBA last night. You're here with us. That is an and one at the next level, and he might be one of those guys to see the next level the way he's been playing for the Ducks.
Well, I will say, seventh game in 9 days. It's nice to turn and have you next to me. I don't know if I could handle Bill tonight after 7 games in 9 days.
Hey, well, you know, this is the 359th meeting. Is that you and Bill around that many too?
Yes, I think. 1 point Ducks lead. Here's Lucas off the dribble. He takes some wild shots, but again, if they go down early, he can catch fire. He misses there, and he couldn't make a three in the first meeting. Harmon, Richardson, around and out, halfway down. Letitia, so talented. Preseason first team all Pac-12. Going to struggle, not just for him, but the entire Oregon State team. But they're down 1, 4 minutes gone by here in Eugene. Right now, according to Joe Lenardi, he's got 4 Pac-12 teams in, including Oregon. The Ducks are among the last 4 in. I think actually before the game started today, they were the last team in.
Joe's got to give the Pac-12 a little more love. I think Colorado and Stanford, I'd love to see 6 get in. But they've got a little work to do. Both of them had some opportunities. Colorado got a big win here on this floor earlier in the week.
Stanford has 2 wins against USC, and they still have to play UCLA a couple times. One of those games got postponed. Meanwhile, a 3 for Jared Lucas, so he's got 5 of the 7 points for Oregon State. Harmon misfires. Guerrier. Rivaldo Soares checked that, tried to go up there and dunk in the rebound, could not, but an extra possession. Richardson off the dribble, gets into the paint. Kepnong is there. Did the right thing, didn't bring it down, but just couldn't make the shot.
Textbook rebounding big man 101.
And you look at the bodies on the floor for Oregon State and you say, how is this team 3-14? A lot of the same faces from the run to the Elite Eight. Akano is one of the newcomers, and he drills a 3, transfer from Marquette. He's 8 for his last 15 from three-point land.
And he is one of the bright spots. And when you're talking about Oregon State, you're talking about a team who part of their defense is the made bucket, because the made bucket allows them to drop back into this zone, and they are very familiar and comfortable playing this 2-3 zone.
Eric Williams comes back and answers from the corner with a 3. Wayne Tinkle not happy with the team defense, and Williams beat them with a 3-pointer in the first meeting in Corvallis.
Well, this morning at shoot-around, the Ducks were working around that offense against the zone. They knew they had to get a shooter to the corner, and Silva's just too big to get out there on a 3-point shooter. At that time, it was his assignment.
Silva over the top, knocked it away. Better defense there. Good hands by Williams, knocks it out of bounds. When you think about the Oregon State team from last year with, as you look at Dana Altman, who picked up his 700th career win in Los Angeles when they beat UCLA, closing in on 300 in his time here in Eugene. But talking about Oregon State, and you look at that team last year, Ethan Thompson was such a big part of that team, was the leader on the floor. That's what Oregon State needs more of. They need more leadership from the players, because there's still time. They can make a run in Vegas with the kind of talent they have. Silva gets the bucket down low. It's 12-8 Oregon State.
Well, you're right, Dave, and I'll tell you, for coaches, that's one of the good problems you want to have. There's so many coaches, they've got chemistry but no talent. But the Beavers have got talent, but they're struggling with a little bit of chemistry. And if that clicks, they're going to be just as dangerous this year as they were last year.
Richardson trying to go baseline. Well defended that time by Akano. Harmon, 2-pointer is good. Davion Harmon, a transfer from Oklahoma, where he was a 2-year starter.
And that's the challenge against that zone, to stay patient and work for a good shot.
Davis, Letitia rolling to the bucket. Good defense by Harmon, staying in front of him. Glenn Taylor, and it's swatted out of bounds. Kepnong with the block. Dante's already got 2 blocks himself.
Boy, he is a force in the paint. You talk about great one-on-one plays, and you got a chance to get two, but
Oregon State playing for the first time in 10 days. The Beavers have lost 4 in a row. They also had 3 games postponed. They were supposed to have a game on the 22nd against Washington State. That got postponed due to COVID. So their last game was January 20th as they turned it over here. Their last win was in 2021. It was December 30th against Utah.
you didn't have to do that.
I know. Just setting the context, so it's only been 4 games that they've played since then because of all the games postponed.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare of a season, and coaches know how important it is for consistency, routine. When you've got postponed games and dealing with what Oregon State's had to deal with, it is so hard to get guys in rhythm.
Richardson gets the bounce, his first 2-point basket. He has 8. And Oregon with a 4-point lead. 8-0 run right now by the Ducks. Davis splits the double. Trey Williams, a transfer from Minnesota, checking into the game. Davis leaning in, trying to draw the foul. Can't, misses the shot. And Williams with the board.
Great defensive possession by the Ducks right there, staying down defensively. Not going for the ball fakes.
Richardson with a lob too high for Dante, but it was last touched by Oregon State. And Will Richardson will go to the bench. Harmon back on the floor. First breather of the game for Richardson. He's got 8 points so far.
Oregon has the right philosophy right now against this zone. Beat your man, try to create a shot or an assist instead of just passing around the perimeter. They're going to overturn that call. Looks like nobody touched it. The Beavers have to do a much better job at handling this pressure. It's not really a press.
Midway through this first half here in Eugene. Oregon State got off to a quick start, but struggled of late. Now 5 for 19. 2 for 6 from three-point land. Good hands by Dante to knock it away.
Boy, and that was just smothering defense by Jacob Young all over Lucas. Wouldn't let him breathe. Forced the erratic pass. And you can see the Ducks not content to let Oregon State just do whatever they want to do.
Having trouble getting it inbounds here in front of the Oregon bench. Here's Lucas with a shot clock at 3. Lucas has to pull the trigger. Degree of difficulty awfully high, but it doesn't matter. Jared Lucas, he can make some circus shots. And into shot clock. Difficult attempts, but he's got 7 points, 3 of 5 from the floor.
Well, I'd say that was great D. That was just outstanding offense. And there's nothing you can do. Shot clock winding down. Guy shoots a fadeaway. You don't want to foul him. But Lucas with a heck of a play right there.
Gets the Beavers within 2. Guerrier from deep. Too strong. Dante tried to get it. Out of there with it is Glenn Taylor. Here's Silva, long 2, not there. Kalu trying to keep it alive, and a foul underneath on Oregon. Kalu working hard on the offensive glass against 3 Oregon players. It's on Soares.
Well, we mentioned Lucas has the green light. And for folks that don't play basketball, that's what it looks like. When you can shoot any shot and coach isn't going to get mad. The fadeaway as the clock expires. Big time bucket by Lucas.
I mean, he's had some games, Corey, where he struggled. Then he also has 4 games as Kalu drills a 3. But Lucas has 4 games of 25 points or more.
And what's interesting about his game is he may miss a couple of open ones, but then he hits the high degree of difficulty shots that kind of break your spirit. Just a streaky guy who can really put up a lot of points.
With Lucas and Kalu, who've been hot and cold, are shooting the ball well to start the game, which is a good sign for Oregon State if it's going to pull this upset. Too strong on the 3. Soares out of bounds, and will stay with the Ducks.
You see the Ducks working to try to get an overload situation against this zone. They want to get a shooter in the corner or somehow get a mismatch. But right now, the Beavers doing a good job of trying to keep everybody in front of them.
Here's Young from deep. No good on the three. Dante, the offensive rebound. He's been a big factor so far in this game. Doing a lot of the little things. Harmon, though, can't pay it off. There's Dante again, another offensive rebound. Young drives and finishes off the window. Oregon back in front.
Third time's a charm right there. A lot of teams, coaches will tell you, it's difficult to rebound out of the zone.
And Folly Dante. Done that a lot this year. Hustle plays, deflections, blocks, offensive rebounds. Gurry in the face of Lucas. Here comes Silva to set the screen with a shot clock at 8. Lucas goes right by Gurrier. Step back jumper, no good. Dante there with the board. Young in transition, attacks. And fouled by Silva. Put it up and it goes. A three-point chance. And they're going to say a flagrant as well on Silva. Crew chief gave the old intentional foul sign, which is now for a flagrant foul. So it's a flagrant one. What that means is count the basket, 2 free throws, and then possession. So that's a huge foul. They could get 6 or 7 points total on this possession here.
And I gotta say, honestly, I don't know that it was that flagrant of a foul. Silva grabbed his wrist to keep him from getting it up to the rim, and obviously Jacob was too strong, but it wasn't the traditional type of flagrant foul you see where a guy gets knocked out of the air or it's an intentional non-basketball move. He just grabbed his wrist, but
non-basketball play, though. I mean, he clearly grabbed him.
Oh, yeah, he grabbed his wrist because the coaches teach, you know, if you're going to make a foul, don't let the guy get the ball up. Don't let him get the shot off, and that's exactly what he did. But they end up getting 1 free throw out of it, which is the ball doesn't lie.
So for Oregon State, able to get the steal. But I agree with the call. I think anytime you have a non-basketball play like that, potential for injury and transition when you grab a guy. A steal by Williams here. Able to get to the ball. Puts it up and gets the roll. It's a 6-point lead for Oregon. It's largest of the game.
That's a high-energy play right there by Williams. Getting in the passing lane, not being content, letting his players catch the ball. Coaches love to see guys out beyond the three-point line, defending.
Almost thrown into the backcourt, saved by Taylor. Here's Lucas, who has 3 steals, 7 points so far for Oregon State. Taylor into traffic. And Eric Williams collided with the official. Out of bounds, going to stay with Oregon State.
Right here, this is great pressure defense. Get a hand in the passing lane, and then he runs it down and has the presence of mind to get it up to the rim. Those are the kind of plays that make a difference in a tight game. How many times can you force a turnover that results in a layup?
Good cut by Kalu. Had it blocked, though. I don't know if he got blocked by the rim, if it got altered. Jacob Young maybe got a piece of the ball. Young comes back, finishes on the other end to push the lead to 8, and a timeout by Wayne Tinkle.
Live ball turnovers leading to buckets for the Ducks. That is their signature. That's the way they generate a lot of their offense.
They have 5 blocks already in this game. Their season high is 6, which they had on the win at SC. Out of bounds off. Oregon State. Oregon ball. The hustle by the Ducks paying off.
You can see Dana Altman and the Ducks starting to ratchet up the pressure. They want to speed this Beaver team up, force them into some errors. Back-to-back turnovers for the Beavers.
Dana Altman, the 9th active coach to get 700 wins. 3-pointer puts the lead to double figures for the first time, and it's a 12-0 run.
Dave, that was bad communication for Oregon State. They didn't know if they were in man-to-man or zone, and by the time they figured it out, it was too late.
Silva underneath. Flips it up and in. It almost looked like he kind of lost it on the way up, but it still went down.
He did, but he was so deep in the lane, it really didn't make a difference.
Williams driving, no-look pass. Ketnon with the throwdown.
Boy, is he special. Love to have a big man sliding along the baseline, making things happen.
Silva fouled on the catch. Ketnon's first. Only the 3rd team foul on the Ducks here.
Dave, we talk about penetrating the zone. And what do you do after you penetrate the zone? Right here, you get in, and then you use your eyes. Who's open? The little no-look bounce to the big fella for the jam. And big men love that. They love that. You're helping my field goal percentage when you drop it off like that.
6 assists now for Oregon. So the lead is 11. Oregon dominating the paint. Look at that, plus 10. Lucas catch and shoot from the corner, off the mark, rebounded by Young. Oregon again looking to push here. Good look in transition. Ketnon just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, both teams a little too quick on offense. That shot from Lucas, they can get that anytime. And right there, the Ducks, they've got the momentum, but Dana Altman wanted to see those guys get a shot at least every trip down the floor.
Davis almost turned it over. And then in the paint, a foul is called against Harmon, grabbing Isaiah Johnson, who's checked into the game. Well, coming up on Monday, we got two of the top teams in the ACC going at it. Notre Dame playing really well of late, taking on 9th-ranked Duke. Then in the Big 12, Baylor looking to bounce back after losing at Alabama. Taking on West Virginia. Both games on ESPN and the app. Baylor was #1 when it came to play Oregon here, and the Ducks hung in that game for a long time before eventually losing. But that made this Oregon team better when they realized they could play with the Bears. Davis hoists a 3. He has not made one in conference play. The putback won't go, but Isaiah Johnson is fouled by Guerrier, his second.
There's no doubt about it. That elusive #1 ranking has switched hands several times throughout the season so far, and you get that #1 spot, you get a target. Now all of a sudden, you're everybody's biggest game.
Who's the best team you've seen so far?
Best team I've seen so far, I like the Zags. I like the way they play a complete game. I like their bigs. They beat you so many different ways. But then I was also impressed with what I saw at Duke today, too. They got challenged for a little while, and they answered the bell. They've got some size and some guys that can play as well.
How about Kentucky? I know they're ranked outside the top 10, but man, they absolutely blasted Kansas up by, I think it was 22 at halftime.
That was a game. That's the first time I've seen people leaving the field house early. Kentucky dropped the hammer on Kansas.
Still think the Pac-12 has a great chance to get one, maybe two teams to the Final Four, as good as UCLA and Arizona are. USC, even though struggled this week, lost to Stanford, barely beat Cal. It's still a team with a lot of talent. How about, again, in volley, Dante's got 3 offensive rebounds. That was a nice play there to tip it up and in.
Just get the ball to the rim, let your big men do what they do.
Lead is 12 inside 5 minutes to go in the first half. Oregon State shooting just 30% from the floor. Dante again with the deflection. Man, he's giving you everything, and look at him run the floor.
Outstanding defense by the Ducks here in the first half. They've done a good job of containing and contesting.
Soares no on the 3. But Dante's making everybody work on the defensive glass, wearing a black jersey. Williams drives, misses. The putback, no. Silva finally gets it to drop. It's 8 points now for Silva.
And the best thing about that made bucket for the Beavers, they get to drop back into their zone and see if the Ducks can continue to create against this 2-3 zone.
Silva, by the way, had 12 points, 9 rebounds in the first meeting. Williams connects, and Oregon shooting over 50% now. A turnover, Oregon State. Richardson looking to run. Dante gets rid of it. Young, 4 at 3. Got it.
Dante running the point with the assist in the open court. That's a big man, a 5, thrown into a point guard. And you know it's a great night when you got those type of plays happening.
We said he's doing everything. That's his first assist of the game. And the lead is up to 15 now. And stepping out of bounds is Trey Williams.
Well, you got the bigs for the Ducks getting in on the act. Open court, show them your handle.
Is retiring. You look at the leading scorers for Oregon. I was down there in Tampa for that game against the Rams. Talked to several coaches and members of the personnel department. They have no idea what Tom Brady's going to do. And the one thing they did say is the amount of effort and time he puts into his mind and body just for practice is unlike anything they've ever seen. So you wonder, can he keep doing that for another year, make it year 23?
You're right. And for 22 years, you come out and you see the 60 minutes on the field, and most people don't understand the hours that go into that 60 minutes. And it's a lot to sign up for every year and to play at the level he wants to play at.
He'll be 45 this summer. Offensive rebound by Kalu. He's fouled. Count the basket. A much-needed hoop. Will Richardson picks up the foul, his first. Now, somebody was on Twitter today asking people to tweet out where you were with pictures 22 years ago when Tom Brady came into the NFL. At that point, were you still playing in Arizona 22 years ago? I'm trying to think.
No, sir. Thank you for dating me. I appreciate that.
Think here.
But I had left Arizona
in
'96, so no, I was not
giving
there.
You look young. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl champion. Doing it with 2 franchises. I don't know if you've seen Man in the Arena. If you haven't seen it on ESPN Plus, check it out. I watched 4 episodes in a row the other night. It's awesome. Got 6 to go. Can't wait to finish it.
We talk about what makes a Tom Brady, and everybody got a chance to see like The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. You see these phenomenal, legendary athletes, and when you get a peek in their composition and their mind state, it's just amazing. You kind of take them for granted, you know.
Shot clock at 10, nearing 2 minutes to go in the first half. Soares penetrates, finishes off the window. Junior college All-America a year ago.
Oregon staying in attack mode against this zone, not being content to pass around the outside. Guys putting the ball on the floor and going to the rim.
Davis straight on. Misses again. Silva, offensive rebound, couldn't get the putback. Dane Altman saying go, run the floor. That's been working for Oregon here in the first half.
Dana Altman knows his team is at their best when they play with tempo. However, Wayne Tinkle not really liking that amount of tempo out of his Beavers. Ball security an issue for them here in the first half.
Fast break points, 11 for Oregon, none for Oregon State. Plus the Beavers have 9 turnovers, to your point, and just 10 baskets. Young gets into the paint. Good ball movement. Here's a 3 from Williams. Around and out. And Oregon State cut into this lead before halftime. Another block by Dante. That's his 3rd. That matches his career high, which he had against Missouri back in December of 2020.
I mean, it's a good, aggressive move, but if you're going to go in here, got to try to get a piece of the big man. If you don't, you're just teeing it up for him for an easy block. Davis not afraid to go downhill and challenge at the rim, but come out of there with some free throws or a bucket.
Kalu, not close. And Dante with another rebound, his 6th. So he's got 3 blocks, 5 points, 6 rebounds, and a fast break assist. Turnover by Richardson. Fast break opportunity for Davis. Dante trailing, and a missed layup. Kalu is there. He misses it.
Credit Dante's presence. Just him being there made Davis attempt a reverse layup in the open court.
And Oregon State gives up a layup on the other end. Well, you can kind of see here the last couple minutes why it's been such a struggle. Really, this sequence here, a snapshot of the season for the Beavers.
The open court turnovers leading to the tempo that favors the Ducks. The crowd into the game. Definitely not the strategy Oregon State wanted. They wanted a slower game here at the half.
Yeah, Oregon is definitely, as you said, sped them up. 3 to go. And another turnover. 1 second left. 3-quarter court. Williams. Oh, he banked it in! Eric Williams, who beat regular season. In fact, the Ducks have won it the last 2 years. Right now, Arizona and UCLA are atop the standings. USC in third. Oregon currently in fifth. How about Washington? Mike Hopkins' team 6-3, now fourth in the Pac-12 after a win today.
Don't look now, but the Huskies, sneaky good, in the mix. Another team that plays a 2-3 zone, likes to slow things down. And that's what the Beavers have to do here. They've got to reestablish that tempo they had the first 10 minutes of the game, where it was more of a slugfest.
Harmon fouled, so Deshaun Davis, who is 0 for 9 from the floor. We started the broadcast saying he's been the most consistent offensive player for Oregon State, and then he had his worst half of the season. Just picked up a foul there on a jump shooter.
You know, Dana Altman and this Oregon Ducks team this morning in scout and preparation, they talked a lot about Davis and the do's and don'ts and how to defend. And they were basically telling guys, hey, him and Lucas, we don't leave those guys. Make them earn everything. And when you have an entire team focused on you, you're going to have some off nights. And that's what they've been able to do. They've really been able to speed him up and bother him in the contest. He hasn't had an easy look all night.
Another stat that's worthy of being mentioned, points in the paint 22-8 in favor of Oregon. Oregon State's won here twice in the last 3 years, and again took Oregon to the wire in Corvallis. So an impressive showing right now by the Ducks. More physical than Oregon State, which wasn't the case probably in that first meeting. Orith Alatishe struggling, he has not scored. Meanwhile, a three goes for Dexter Akano, the transfer from Marquette.
If you're the Beavers, you're like, what's the formula to get back in this game? Well, that's a big part of it. The outside shooting. If that can pick up and they can get stops, 20 minutes is a long time. And they're the kind of grinded out team that'll chip away one bucket at a time. But it starts on the defensive end.
And Young was right at the rim, but couldn't finish off the window. Silva was a factor in the first half, had 8 points. He was the leading scorer for Oregon State. Lucas had 7, and those came early. He didn't get a lot of shots off after that hot start. Alatishe has it sent back by Guerrier. Tries again from deep, beats the shot clock buzzer, and gets his first points of the night.
And that was a lucky shot. He just kind of turned around and threw it up because he had no choice. But, hey, a bucket's a bucket. 5 points in a row for the Beavers.
Trying to find his game. He was the most outstanding player in the Pac-12 tournament, played well in the NCAA tournament, and was a first-team All-Pac-12 performer. Harmon drills a three. That's 7 triples now for Oregon.
It's been that kind of night for the Ducks. They hit a 70-footer, and right there, that should have been a brick, but just so bad that it went off the glass and went in.
Richardson stepped out of bounds after intercepting that pass. Roman Silva a little shaken up. Either that or just tired. First time Oregon State's played a game since the 20th of December. They had a game with Washington State for last weekend that got postponed because of COVID. Bank shot goes for Akano, who's got 5 points here in the second half. Oregon State trying to end a 4-game skid. Oregon trying to win for the 7th time in the last 8 games. There's Harmon again. Back-to-back possessions with threes for Davion Harmon.
And right now they've got the momentum. They've got the double-digit lead, and it's real easy to shoot jumpers when you're up double digits. There's no pressure on you, but Harmon just pouring it on from the outside.
And a foul called on Young. First on Oregon here in the half. Oregon State 3 for 4 from the floor in the second half, and obviously they got to shoot better than they did in the first half to have any chance of coming back. They were under 30% in that first half. Young's done a pretty good job shadowing Lucas. Silva on the cut, missed the shot, batted out to Richardson. Guerrier wide open. Can't knock it down. McConnell gets to the rim. Altered by Dante. Was all over the floor in that first half. He had 3 offensive rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals.
Now, I was talking to Coach Dana Altman this morning about his presence and his ability to alter shots. And he said, you know, our guys can do a better job at being rim protectors. And I think they answered the call tonight as there was another rejection.
Wow, Dante with his 3rd block. Are they going to count that? They're going to say a foul? They're going to say a foul on Dante. So it's a 2-shot foul, so don't count the bucket. First personal on Dante.
And this is a tough call because it's all about timing. The up and under. He makes the block, but makes contact down low. Obvious fouling the guy in the shooting motion.
Right.
Clear cut.
Yep. Definitely contact after the block. Was on the way up, so good call on that as well. And the first free throw goes down for Lucas, 85% free throw shooter. It's just the 4th attempt of the night at the foul line for Oregon State. Oregon's only taken 6 free throws. So Lucas gets them both. But they got to get some stops. Better start offensively here for the Beavers. This is an Oregon offense that's humming right now. Guerrier off the heel.
You know, you do this type of thing in bits and pieces. You want to have it to 10 points around 10 minutes. If you can do something like that, that's how you work your way back into the game. But another turnover for the Beavers.
And a foul call on Alatishe. That's 3 on him. And when we come back, we'll be joined by the new head football coach of the
fans. Just reminded me so much of why it's so exciting to be in a place like this. They've got a tremendous passion, and it's the kind of place you're excited to bring your family. It's a beautiful area of the country, so we're thrilled to be here.
It's been an amazing run for you. We were just chatting off the air about, you know, a decade ago you were at Arizona State. You're 36 years old, 35, one of the youngest coaches in college football. And you said back then you rode a bike because you couldn't afford a car. And here you are getting this huge contract here with the Ducks.
It's been fun. I mean, I rode a bike to work until my bike got stolen, and then then I had to figure out how to get to work. But it's been a lot of fun. This adventure my wife and our kids have been on. It's been a really rewarding profession.
Coach, you've been a part of a winning culture. Obviously want to continue the winning culture at Oregon. What's key in those type of situations?
You know, I think the big thing that we're emphasizing with our players right now is obviously it takes talent, which exists here at Oregon, but more importantly for me, it's connection. And you have to have a special love and brotherhood in that locker room to get things accomplished that you want to accomplish.
You just talk about the decision to coach in the national championship game when you're taking a big job like that, to stay with that group and finish what you started.
Yeah, to me, there was never a decision. I mean, those guys, I wouldn't be sitting in this position if it wasn't for the guys that helped me get this job, and I wanted to do everything right by them. They deserved it, and I'm certainly grateful for them.
Who have been some of your coaching influences? Because, again, you here over the last decade, you kind of had this rise. I know you spent a little time at Bama and obviously at Georgia and Arizona State.
Yeah, obviously I'm really grateful for every coach that I've had an opportunity to work with. You know, most recently Coach Smart has done a lot for me. Obviously, you know, a short stint with Coach Saban was really influential, and time with guys like Todd Graham, Mike Norvell, Casey Keeler have all, I mean, I've learned a lot from each one of them.
Coach, some people football is football, but is there a difference, SEC, Pac-12, in the style of football?
You know, I think there's certainly a brand of football that the SEC has, you know, put on display the last couple years. But I think this is probably the most exciting time ever in Pac-12 football. And there's an opportunity for us to really recreate this brand of football, and I'm excited about it.
Went to Georgia in 2018, was named defensive coordinator in 2019, and part of the national championship win over Alabama just a couple weeks ago. Here the basketball team for Oregon up 53-36. And the lead goes to 19. They're going to wave it off here, I think. Yep, no basket. Coach, you're talking a little bit about the Pac-12, and with yourself, obviously the Lincoln Riley hire gets a lot of national attention. The Pac-12 is trying to get back to being a contender for the college football playoff. What is it going to take for Oregon to get to that point? Because you guys have been close. You've played in several New Year's Six bowl games here the last few seasons.
You know, it's no different than anything. It takes one day at a time. You don't eat an elephant with one bite. You know, it's one bite at a time. So the work for us has already started. We're a team run this morning, out there on the field putting in work, and our guys are grinding. Like I said before, I think we have the talent. We have to continue to grow that connection and that brotherhood, and to me, that'll be the difference.
Eating an elephant bite by bite. I don't know if I've heard that one before. It's a new one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
One bite at a time.
Was that a Kirby one? Did Kirby start that one, or is that your own?
I don't know where it came from, but we just ate some the other day. It was pretty good.
Mentioned earlier that actually, I was going to see if there's a flagrant foul here. Mentioned earlier about, you know, the last few years there have been some turnover with this position. The facilities are unbelievable here, and there have been a lot of success here. To have sustained success, to be able to recruit and get players like Kayvon Thibodeau year in, year out, what kind of a challenge is that?
Yeah, I think this place, to me, it recruits itself. It's phenomenal, the alignment within the university, within the athletic department. You know, the reality that I think as a student athlete, you can achieve anything here, not just athletically, but also off the field. So I've been tremendously impressed. I know we're going to be able to attract great talent here. In fact, we have some great players on campus right now that we're really, really excited about, and that's going to continue as we move forward.
Not sure what the holdup is, but it's Oregon State ball, down 17 early in the second half. So you played it, is it William Jewell College?
William Jewell, yes, sir.
And where is that?
It's in Liberty, Missouri, near Kansas City. Small school.
So how did you get started in coaching, and who was the first guy that gave you your break?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was, initially I came out of college and I was an elementary PE teacher, and I coached high school football at Park Hill South. And I really didn't know anybody in college football at the Division I level, so I was the guy that was sending out letters every day. Was fortunate enough one day to get a call back and said, hey, you might have a chance. We'll let you know. And I didn't hear back, so I got in my car and I drove to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and got my first opportunity there.
And look at what Jaden Shackelford did on the win over Baylor today. 19 points. Jabari Smith for Auburn at 23 against Oklahoma. Our thanks to Dan Lanning, the new head coach here at Oregon, for joining us, replacing Mario Cristobal, who took the Miami job. Deshaun Davis, nice pass to Silva for the dunk. Oregon State's going to need a lot more of that, though. At some point, they're going to have to get some stops as well.
And you see them abandoning the zone, which is normally what they brought back into after a made bucket. They just got to get into their man-to-man defense and start to challenge some of these players. It'll depend on their one-on-one defense.
Kapnong underneath, and he stepped out of bounds. So there's a stop. Next up for Oregon will be games at the mountain schools. They just lost to Colorado at home on Tuesday. They have to go to Boulder on Thursday. Then they go to Utah on Saturday. Got a foul called here on Soares. That's Kapnong, excuse me, is second. Dana Altman, who just got his 700th win at UCLA. Ninth active coach to do that. He'll be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Probably should be in already.
No question.
Lucas fires, no good. Soares with the board. Richardson tries the step through, and a foul called here in Oregon State on the drive. Lucas
flying around on defense, you get that kind of energy in a rivalry game.
The win at Oregon last year, by the way, for Oregon State was its first road win against a top 25 team since 1985. The Beavers made the Elite Eight after winning the Pac-12 tournament, their first Pac-12 tournament title, and then their first trip to the Elite Eight since 1982.
Yeah, they really had a special postseason Beaver Nation. A lot of those players still on this team, and that's how you know it's just a matter of finding that right combination at the right time. But they really overachieved last year and took a lot of people by surprise. I wasn't surprised. I knew they had a good team, but they really turned a lot of heads.
I certainly miss Ethan Thompson. He's a great player there. His dad, Steven, great player at Syracuse, been on the staff for the last 8 years. And he's now with the Bulls G League team. As Oregon had, what, 3 or 4 opportunities? Oregon State Eagles stopped there, couldn't get it. The lead back to 19 for the Ducks.
You see the Ducks maintaining that energy level, crashing the boards, staying aggressive. And right now it's the big fella in the paint for Oregon, Dante.
Banks it in. And then they introduced Dan Lanning, the new head football coach here. It was standing ovation. The score in the second half is tied, but Oregon State has played much better, and Oregon, after blowing a lead against Colorado, a big lead early on, does not seem to be in danger of doing that again because they're still fighting and hustling.
And if you're Coach Dana Altman, you love to see that. With 7 minutes remaining, your guys are still going after every pass. And if you're Wayne Tinkle and the Beavers, you want to see your guys continue to fight. This game may have gotten away from you early on, but you definitely want to see your guys continue playing hard because there's still a lot of basketball left to play in the Pac-12 season.
Just 1 win in conference play, 3 wins overall for an Elite team, Elite 8 team a year ago. Transition opportunity, 2-on-1. Harmon gives it up to Young, and the lead is up to 21 now.
Another transition bucket started by a great block on the defensive end.
Dave is still looking for his first points of the game. Gives it up to Alatishe, who struggled again tonight. Off the mark there, and the follow dunk by Akano.
Big time play. You see the athleticism that Oregon State has. They just got to figure out a way to put together a complete game because the talent is there.
Guerrier turns it over. Akano saves it. Taylor tried to feed Silva, picked off by Young. Young takes it himself. Count the basket and a foul, a 3-point chance.
Well, they really keep the pressure on you. The Ducks with the turnover, and right there in the open court, Jacob Young looking for someone to pass to. He says, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. The Euro step. Defender was inside the arc. The contact. Everything working for the Ducks tonight.
You know, Young has had some big games for them this year. This is his 6th year of college basketball. He was at Texas for a couple years. Rutgers for a couple years. Had 16 points in the win in Corvallis. Had 23 in the win at UCLA. Completes the 3-point play.
His play in overtime was unbelievable at Pauley Pavilion. Big moment, 6th-year player.
They play UCLA here in late February. USC as well. They still have to go to the Arizona schools. That'll be in 2 weeks. Alatishe is fouled. Guerrier picking up his 3rd. Now, USC hung on to beat Cal today, so Trojans go to 8-3. Arizona, your alma mater, was in a fight with Arizona State. You obviously were talking about the rivalry here. That's a big rivalry. That game was tied at halftime, but the Wildcats pull away. And UCLA clobbered Stanford. No Johnny Juzang in health and safety protocols, but they're still able to win and only hold the Cardinal at 43 points.
Be another big game down in Tucson next week. The Bruins, fresh off beating Arizona at home, have to go down to McHale Center.
It'll be Thursday at 8 Eastern on ESPN. 6 in Tucson. Eric Williams with a smooth jumper. He's got 14.
So you can see how special a player he is. range, ability off the dribble, which is the toughest way to score, but he makes it look easy.
So 4 players in double figures, led by Young, 17. Here's Silva inside, missed it. And out of there with it is Harmon. Kepnon sets the screen. Young on the drive, goes behind the back. Sets up Guerrier. Way off though on the 3.
You gotta make that. That was a beautiful assist. Oh, he had the $1 million pass and the 10-cent finish. Must do better.
Silva underneath, got Kepnon off his feet and puts it in. 16 points for Silva, matching a career high. Offensive foul is called on Young. That'll take us to break with Oregon leading 76-55. Dante are done for the night. If the Ducks can close the last 3:50 strong, they won't have to take the floor again.
Well, for the Ducks, it's mission accomplished. They were able to change the tempo of the game in the first half, create turnovers, get easy buckets, and they've been coasting ever since.
Alatiche held ball, and it will go to Oregon on the possession arrow. You know, watching Oregon here tonight, it was in Pauley when they won that game at UCLA, and again, no, they blew the lead against Colorado the other night, but this is a different team than we saw in November, December. And I know Joe Lunardi has them in right now. Be interesting to see if they can make a run in February to get a bye in the Pac-12 tournament. They've won the regular season each of the last 2 years. I know they're only 2 back in the loss column, but that's going to be a big ask to win the regular season title again.
Yeah, but I don't see a way that they don't make the tournament. I don't think there's many teams that could have gone to the Los Angeles schools and swept the way that they did a couple of weeks ago. They knocked off UCLA. They knocked off USC on the road. Those are huge wins against good teams. And I think when all's said and done, they'll find themselves in the top 4 teams in the conference.
Silva. He was fouled. So, Oregon, as of a couple weeks ago, got into Joe Lunardi's bracket. He's got Arizona and UCLA, each with 2 seeds. I think Arizona was a 1 before the loss to UCLA earlier this week. SC is a 6 seed. Who's the best team in the conference right now?
Best team in the conference right now, UCLA Bruins. I mean, they've put together, they stumbled obviously against Oregon, but they put together the big win against Arizona. They handled Arizona. And until further notice, when they hook up next week, that's what's on the line, the driver's seat of the Pac-12 conference.
We talked about the loss at home to Colorado. Now they're going to go to Boulder and then to Salt Lake City. Utah's had a rough year, but that's never an easy place to get a win. The Stanford game here will be on ESPN2. And you have Cal, and then at Arizona State and at Arizona. And then they have another game with UCLA and USC. In fact, they have 3 straight at Arizona, UCLA, and USC. So the 3 best teams in the conference, Oregon will play consecutively from February 19th until February 26th.
Yeah, a lot of things will be settled in that 4 or 5 day stretch right there. But you look at that upcoming schedule for Oregon, there are no gimmies there either. You mentioned Utah is a tough out. The Bears hung around against the Trojans tonight.
Nate Biddle for 3. He's a McDonald's All-American who's from Central Point, Oregon. He's not played a ton this year. He's a 7-footer who they're very high on, but it's going to take some time for him to grow and develop.
I like him already. Comes in off the bench, jacks a 3. That's what you got to do. Get out there, get your money.
I don't know if that's what Dana's thinking, Dana Altman. I don't know if that's what he wants him doing, but
gotta let the guy play. He's a freshman. Get him another touch. There we go, pick and pop. This is the fun part of the game where the upperclassmen try to work for the young guys, get them a couple buckets in the rivalry game. set some of these guys up who are practicing hard every day, finally get a little run in the game. You want to feed them, hook them up with a couple.
Here's Harmon, goes to the right hand and lays it in. And it's 45 to go in this one. Luke War is on the floor. Isaac Johnson on the floor. Gabe Reichel about to check in for the Ducks. And so Oregon will go to 6-3 in league play. That will tie them with Washington for 4th in the conference. And again, just 2 back in the loss column of the best record in the league, with a lot of games left against the competition in front of them.
And that's why rhythm is so important. The teams that are playing well are the teams that are going to have the advantage. It really doesn't matter about your talent, because you can see already anyone can beat anyone in the Pac-12. So it's the teams that have that chemistry and that rhythm that are going to be doing good in February and March. This is always nice when you can get your guys subbed out of the game, let them sub them out to the applause from the crowd for a job well done. Get some minutes for some of your bench guys.
What a night for N'Faly Dante, too. He only had 9 points. I say only, it's about what he's averaging, but the 10 rebounds, the blocks, the steals, the deflections, the hustle plays. He's among, if you look at, I was talking to some of the Oregon coaches about this, looking at analytics. If you look at some of the numbers that are not in the box score, deflections, hustle plays, he's among the best in the country in terms of efficiency in making those little things happen.
And see, I'm not an analytics guy, but I'm going to make up my own stat right now. He's got about 20 impact points, 9 that he scored and maybe 10 that he erased.
Absolutely.
And that is something, like you said, doesn't show up on the scoring sheet, but impact player nonetheless. And you love to see these guys playing at a high level this crucial point in the season.
Less than a minute to go. Oregon State will fall to 3-15, 1-7 in conference play. The disappointing year all the way around. Their bus, to add insult to injury, on their way down yesterday from Corvallis, it's about a 45-minute drive. Their bus broke down when they were about to leave. So they had to take 8 cars. They piled everybody into 8 cars to drive down here last night to Eugene. Just been that kind of year for a team that won the tournament, the Pac-12 tournament, and then made it to the Elite 8 last year.
Right, you talk about the tremendous circumstances in which they've had to play. The coach Wayne Tinkle has had to coach under the years where they were, decimated with injury, and now this year it's just like whatever can go wrong will go wrong, but still a solid team that just came up a little short tonight. They had a 10-minute stretch where the Ducks were able to pull away.
There is about a second difference between the clocks here, so Oregon State will, I think, just take the they're going to run a play here. Nakano out of bounds, 2 to shoot for Oregon State. Up next for Oregon State, they go to Utah Thursday and then play Colorado after that. That's it. The Oregon Ducks with an impressive win.